Horonomys Bosch, seer, prophet, time traveler. Who in the world is Horonomys Bosch, and why have you never heard of him? And why have I, and why are there some weird correlations around Horonomys Bosch? I don't know how many of you watch much television, but on Stars or Amazon or one of those, there's a show called Bosch, and the lead character is named after Horonomys Bosch. And who is Horonomys Bosch? Well, I'm giving you a preview of something that's very, very interesting, very, very exciting to me. And tonight, I will be at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, which is, an hour and a half from now. I'll be on live with James Arthur Jancic on the Feet to Fire broadcast. You can see here in the, I think you can see here in the chat, the direct link to the show. So I will be on there tonight, live for about an hour, hour and a half. I don't think it'll be a completely friendly audience, so we've got a chance for you to probably hear some interesting stuff and maybe hear some people that are not perfectly happy with your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. Yes, the show is Bosch. And the interesting thing is that he's named after this painter, Horonomys Bosch. And what's really interesting to me is the painter, Horonomys Bosch, painted the painting that I showed you earlier about trepanation. Bosch painted this painting. So why in the world is a character in a TV show named after the guy that painted this painting? Now, that had me wondering, but this is what really has me wondering, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at this painting was painted somewhere between 1488 and 1516. This is 2018. It was painted sometime in the late 15th century or early 16th century. There's a lot to talk about in this painting, and we'll talk about it either later tonight or tomorrow. But I want to point some things out to you that leapt out to me that I don't understand. This is the 14th century, right? This is the 15th century, right? Well, then maybe you could explain this to me. Since it's the 14th century, since it's the 15th century, maybe you could explain this to me and how this fellow could have painted this in the 14th or the 15th century. Maybe you can explain something to me. Watch this. Maybe you can explain it to me. In the 14th or 15th century, how does he paint a modern-looking city? Is that not a modern-looking city to you, ladies and gentlemen? Look at this up here in the corner. That's a modern-looking city. Look at this over here. It's another modern-looking city. How can he paint a modern-looking city in 14? See if I can get a better view of it. How can he paint a modern-looking city in the 14th and 15th centuries? Tell me how. Because if you can figure it out, I'm all ears. That's a modern-looking city. This is a modern-looking city. And I'm not sure what this is. Some kind of looks like a tank or something, an oil tank. This is in the 14th and 15th centuries, ladies and gentlemen. I've got another picture of it, which might make it a little bit easier to make out what he was trying to show us. I mean, look at that. I know Rex would say, would you just look at that? But That sure looks like a modern looking city to me. That sure looks like a modern looking city to me. That sure looks like a modern looking city to me. How could this guy in the 14th, 15th century have painted modern looking cities in his paintings? Was he a prophet? Was he a seer? Was he a time traveler? Or was he all three? Or was he neither? Very, very interesting. None of those type of structures existed then. He's looking, let's look at this. Let me show you something. London, 14th century. London, 14th century. Let's see if I can get a view of London in the 14th century. Not really anything I can use. Anyway, it's got me thinking. It's got me considering, and it's not a fake painting, but we're going to study more about Hieronymus Bosch, and we're going to study it, and we're going to look at him and see what was going on with this guy, and see why even today they're promoting him as a named of a character on television. I think it's either Stars or Amazon, maybe Netflix, one of those. But the show's called Bosch, and it's a cop show, and it's actually pretty good. The colander on the head, the book on the head, a lot of this is there, ladies and gentlemen. And wow, very, very interesting stuff. I hope that you'll watch me tonight on Feet to the Fire, and we'll be back with more broadcast excellence. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, encouraging you. Maybe you can figure this out, but certainly encouraging you to unindoctrinate yourself. And by the way, you may have seen 1,000-year-old towers, but this is way over 1,000 years, ladies and gentlemen. This is, if it was the 15th century, I guess it's not over 1,000 years. Is it 5? I don't know. It looks like a regular city to me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Yes, Bosch on Amazon. We'll be back with more and hope to see you tonight in the audience in the link above.